What is happening, people? It is Brian with NEVERsate.com, and I am here answering your questions and sweating. I just got done my workout, so I am pretty thoroughly soaked right now, but I did want to take some time and answer some of the questions you guys have asked, so let's get after it. Alright, so the first question comes from Anthony Solis from YouTube, and he wants to know what weight class I compete at and do I have any competitions coming up. I currently compete in a 231 weight class for strongman, and I haven't done any powerlift competitions. It's not really because I don't want to. I have nothing against powerlifting. I just don't know that much about it. So in the future, you probably will see me doing a powerlifting competition just to get a total down and get some experience in it. But as far as strongman competitions, I actually have the national championships coming up, which you've seen me talk a lot about on this channel. And then 2 weeks after that, I have Maryland's Strongest Man. That's not a lot of turnaround. See how that goes. And if I do well enough at nationals, then maybe I'll get an invite to the Arnold, which would be a big deal. So that's what I have coming up, man. Thanks a lot for asking. Next question comes from Boulder Shoulders on YouTube. Boulder Shoulders. Boulder Shoulders is a hard thing to say. Anyway, his question was, should I follow the conjugate method for an intermediate lifter? I think that depends, man. I would say yes if you're smart about it, but I don't know what your definition of intermediate lifter is. I would consider myself an intermediate lifter. So you just need to be really careful. You need a good basic understanding of form and bracing and breathing. If you don't have those things nailed down, then you're gonna have a little bit of trouble on your 1 rep max for different variations of the lifts. But here's the secret about programs, man. They all work. Unless you're doing something completely random in the gym, that may not work out so well for you, but as long as you're getting a program from a reputable coach, it all works. You get out of a program what you put into it. So if the knowledge is there and the intensity is there and your recovery is there, it all works, man. Conjugate has worked really well for me personally, but it kind of fits a style that I like to lift in. I've also had really good success with the cube method, 5-3-1, DUP. They all work, man. Pick a program and don't change it that much, otherwise you're not doing that program. So if you pick something like 5-3-1 and you start changing a bunch of things, it's not really 5-3-1 anymore, and then you can't go back to Jim Wendler and say your program doesn't work because you didn't follow the program. Continue with that program as long as you're getting success, and then change it to another program. And then cycle 3 or 4 programs per year and just keep doing it. Thanks for your question, man. I hope that helps. All right, Destroyer TV asked, what does NEVERsate mean? And for those of you who don't know, I own my own gym called NEVERsate Athletics, and I actually got the name from a friend's band. But basically it means never satiated or never satisfied. So to me, it's the pursuit of constant and never-ending improvement. Whether it be physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, you want to become as well-rounded and as strong of an individual as possible. If you think about it as spokes on a wheel, if any one of those areas is not up to par, your wheel's not gonna roll right. This is why if you check out the daily workout section of my website, you'll actually see some days that have mindset challenges, whether it be doing sprints, holding water in your mouth for 4 minutes and then having to spit the water out to prove that you didn't swallow it, or taking an Atlas stone and carrying it as far away as possible in 10 minutes, resting 5 minutes, then picking it up and trying to get it back in less time than it took you to get it out there. If you can push yourself and be happy with where you're at, but not necessarily satisfied, it's kind of where you want to be. Always striving to get better, always striving to achieve more, yet you're trying to enjoy the process. I have a lot of motivational stuff that I've written over at NEVERsate.com, so if you want to go check that out, you'll be able to read a lot more of what it actually means. Thanks for asking. All right, Half Past Time asks, what can you do if you're stuck at a plateau? You gotta take a step back, man. I would say 95% of the time when people miss lifts, it has nothing to do with their actual strength. Every once in a while it will. But for the most part, it's a technique flaw and the bar gets out of the groove or out of the path. That's tough to recover from. So I would say take a step back, work on your technique, watch some YouTube videos or get a coach, have someone look at your form or at least videotape all your sets so you can try to pick it apart yourself. Because the way things really are and the way that you perceive them are usually two very different things. But every time I get stuck at a plateau, that's what I do. Usually it helps me out. Hopefully it helps you out, man. Thank you for asking. All right, Issa from YouTube asks, what is my feelings about powerlifting, bodybuilding, and other fitness-related activities? So I'm assuming you mean CrossFit. All right, here's the deal, man. I support anything that has to do with moving weights and or conditioning. I'm a huge fan of people pushing themselves in no matter what capacity that means. Whether it be running a marathon, deadlifting 900 pounds, competing in the CrossFit Games, or getting up on a stage and posing, it doesn't matter, man. We have more in common than we do differences, and I think a lot of people like to try to be elitist about their particular sport or niche, but at its base level, we all have the same passion. So I'm a fan. I'm a fan of all of it. I just like seeing people push past their glass ceilings and all these preconceived notions of the limits that they've set on themselves and what they think they can do. I just like to see people do that. Thanks for the question, man. All right, last question. So Richard Patterson asks, I see you doing conditioning mainly before your strength work. Do you recommend conditioning before or after a workout? And I think the answer is going to depend on what your goals are. There's a couple reasons why I do it. The first and foremost being that you're never 100% when you're in a contest. You've always done events beforehand. Even if you look at like powerlifting, by the time you get to your deadlift, you're already shot. You've had a weight cut, you have all those nerves, you've had the standing around for hours. You're tired way before you're asked to perform. So to me, I try to train that so that I'm more comfortable with being uncomfortable. I think teaching your body to generate force when it really doesn't want to is massively important, not only in a contest setting, but in everyday life. If you're out in the woods and a tree falls on your best friend, are you gonna be like, wait, I gotta warm up before I move this off you? Or I can't do it because I deadlifted 2 days ago, or I need to roll out my IT band before I do that? No, that's not how life works. Sometimes you have to have performance on demand, whether you want to or not. And learning how to do that when I'm already tired really seems to help me in contests, especially later as the day goes on. Second reason why I do it is because I believe that it primes my CNS for the work that it's about to do. I feel like I can actually move more weight when I have done a little bit of conditioning beforehand. If I walk in cold and start working on my sets before I've started sweating, it usually doesn't go well for me. That's why I try to preach about doing something explosive prior to your actual strength work, because I think it helps. I don't think it hinders at all. Some people believe that if they do their conditioning before their strength work, that their strength's gonna suffer. But in my experience with my gym, that just isn't the case. Every once in a while, the very experienced guy will see a little dip when he first starts doing the conditioning first in their strength performance. But usually after about 2 weeks, that picks up and it actually surpasses their old strength levels. People break PRs all the time doing this method. I don't know why more people don't try it. Reason number 3 why I tried to tell people to do their conditioning first, because if you stick it at the end of the workout, a lot of people will just skip it. They'll think they put the work in, and they have, because conditioning's hard. It's mentally tough to walk into a gym and say, I'm gonna push myself till I feel like I'm gonna throw up. After an hour to an hour 15 of lifting, do you think you're gonna be ready to do that? So I don't know, man. I think you should do your conditioning whenever you will actually do it. Maybe try conditioning before your strength and see what happens. Thanks, man. Let me know how it works. All right, guys, I gotta go coach, but I do really appreciate you guys watching the video, and I really appreciate all of you who ask questions. If you guys want a question answered in a future Q&A, go ahead and leave it in the comment section down below. We'll see if it makes it. Hope you guys found this informative. If I did not answer your question, go ahead and leave it in the comment section down below. Again, maybe I missed it. I'll try to get to it next time. Until next time, keep working hard, be nice to each other, and I'll catch up with you later in the week.